What up, everyone? So, we've got Lootaku here, a box I'm always excited to get because they always have such awesome themes. And this month's theme is Street Fighter. One of the few times I actually know the theme before I open the box, but I only know this one because I was actually really excited for it. Because no one's ever really done a Street Fighter box before, or honestly even really had Street Fighter stuff, with a few exceptions. I think Loot Crate did like one time, but it's kind of weird because Street Fighter is really popular, obviously more so in like Japan and stuff like that, but it's popular here too. It's a very popular game, so I'm surprised not more companies touch on it. The only company that I know really has collectibles for Street Fighter is Kid Robot, and all the other ones are in Europe or Japanese or something like that. So, you know, I was very excited for this one, and I was excited to get the Pokemon one, and I'm excited for next month, Dragon Ball again. So, very exciting stuff. And there's some announcements from the company, which I'll touch on later. Alright, so let's take a look at what we got. First item here, keeping it simple, pop figure, Chun-Li. I'm assuming you got a random choice because all the figures here are pretty common with each other. I would prefer Ryu, he's my favorite, but you know, Chun-Li's still cool. Alright, there's a pop figure. So this is usually the only thing we get from America, which is I'm fine with. I'm not super into collecting pop figures, but it makes sense that they would have that. So that works for me. Alright, next item looks like a bigger item. It's got some nice tissue paper. It's like Christmas. Don't want to damage anything. Come on. Okay, by Kids Logic. And this looks like posable figures. And it looks like Ken and Fei Long. There's that. There's the package. And there's the example on the back. So this reminds me a lot of the Nendoroid figures. So they look like they're fully posable, and it looks like they have different attachments you can put on. So yeah, this looks very, very similar. You can see down here there's different attachments. There's like the fists and the fire and stands and stuff like that. This looks extremely similar to Nendoroids, which I'm okay with because I love Nendoroids. I think they're quite fantastic. And this is really cool as far as like a Street Fighter collectible, and it comes with the background. And it's cool it comes with two characters, because if you're going to put them on display, obviously you're going to have two. Box came a little bit damaged. There's a little crease there, but I don't think that's that much of a big deal. That's really cool. I like that a lot. So they're fully posable. And, you know, I usually don't like posable figures, like action figures, but these I make an exception for because the only reason they're posable is to put them in whatever position you want to, and then the stand and base usually makes them stay that way. So I'm okay with these. Usually action figures are posable, but it's hard to set them up because they have all the joints. These ones are made to sit still. You can just put them in different positions, which I think is really cool. So that's really cool. You can put them in like a battle position, and they look pretty detailed. They have a decent paint job, and they have a good sculpt. So they made Ken's hair, I don't know if you can tell, Ken's hair is clear in this version of it. They probably should have just done it the solid yellow, but I guess that was just a preference choice. Alright, but other than that, yeah, it looks pretty great. I like that a lot. That's something I've never seen before, so I'm guessing that's a new series, because I have not seen anything from that. So exactly why I like this box. I get stuff that I haven't seen before. And that's kind of a big deal, as you've seen behind me. You're only seeing a fraction of my collection. It's pretty hard for me to find things that I haven't come across at one point or another. So that's really cool. And this is from Ultra Street Fighter 4. So I'm guessing it's been around for a while then. Maybe I just haven't come across it. Very nice. I like it a lot. Alrighty. Next, Speak of the Devil, Kid Robot. Like I was just saying. So this is their new series for Street Fighter 5. There's the characters. So I like this series. I've collected a couple of them from the first two iterations of it. And I haven't been keeping up with Street Fighter 5 too much. I'm a big Street Fighter fan, but I don't play the games that often because it's just a little too competitive for my taste. Like, people are crazy good at it, and I just never picked up on it. But, you know, I still am a fan of the series. I'm a really big fan of the anime they did, the comics, all that stuff. All good to me. And it looks like we got Ken Masters. Smells new. Fresh plastic. So we got the new version of Ken Masters, where he's got his longer hair. Focus. There we go. And that's what he looks like. So I really like Kid Robot. I'm always a fan of it, but I wish they would kind of get with the times a little and get a little better on sculpting the bodies of figures. The heads are always fine, but they have this generic shape to all their figures on like the bodies of them, and I just kind of wish that as time progresses they would get a little more detailed in the bodies, because they kind of start to look a little generic after a while. And Kid Robot has a lot of potential. They do great sculptures, so I kind of wish they would break the mold a little bit, just like Pop Figures did. Pop Figures all had the same body for the longest time, and I hated it. That's why I was never on board with them. That's why I never collect them. And they're just now finally starting to make all different body shapes, which was a good move, and now I actually start to collect them. So I hope Kid Robot does the same, because it gets a little generic looking after a while. But good figure nonetheless. Alright. Looks like we got some diamond blocks, and we got a little Ryu. So I've collected a lot of these too. I've collected a lot of Pokemon ones. Their diamond blocks are basically just very small Legos. They're little tiny Legos, and it comes comes with a certain amount of pieces to build a specific character. This one's obviously for Ryu, but they have them for all different characters. You can see on the back here, there's all different iterations of it, and they have them pretty much everything. I actually have a Vegeta one. Oh, I have it right here. How weird. A Vegeta one that came in a different box. That's funny. I didn't realize it was sitting right there. But yeah, they're cool little figures. I think they're really fun to build. As far as display items, I like them. They don't always look super amazing. They're pretty, as far as like blocks go, it's pretty amazing what you can do with such tiny blocks. So they look pretty incredible. But, you know, I'm always into the more detailed stuff. But I still think it's fun to build them and keep them. But I don't always keep them on display. Sometimes I'll just build them and then like give them to a friend or something like that. Because I like playing with Legos, but I like the smaller ones better because you can do more in a smaller space, so yeah, that's my opinion. Alright, the last item, something I have seen before and I am actually a very big fan of. So I saw these on eBay not too long ago, and I definitely want to collect the whole series. These are the figures here. Basically what it is, if any of you played the original Street Fighter 2, it's like the character select screen, but it's the defeated face, and I think that's what it's called. Yeah, it's in Japanese. I think it's called Defeated Face. Basically, when you start a battle, it shows two faces, whichever characters are battling, and then when you lose, this shows up on the continue screen, and that's your defeated face, where you're all beat up and bloody and stuff like that. And basically, this series is all the characters from Street Fighter 2 with their defeated face, which is really interesting, kind of outside the box, but still really cool. So I definitely want to collect this whole series because it looks really fun, and they're pretty small, so it looks easy to display, but I haven't actually seen one in person, so let's open this up and see exactly what they look like. Alright, got Guile. Come on out. Okay, so it's definitely made of plastic. Smells like plastic. So in the pictures, it kind of looked like they were little resin figures, but they're made of plastic, and you can see the detail on them's pretty nice. Not a lot of paint on there, just kind of painted for the hair color. The skin and the shirt are just plastic color. But yeah, pretty decent detail. And yeah, so there you go. It says continue right there. So that's like your continue screen after losing a battle. So I think that's really cool. Really interesting concept, something that most companies probably would have never thought of, but that's really cool. I think that's really interesting, and I'd really like to get that series. And they fit perfectly on my little shelf, so I think these are just my style. They're really cool. So definitely a good choice. I was hoping I would see one of those in there. That's really cool, and I want to go back and collect all of those. So far so good. The only Street Fighter box that's ever been done, and really great stuff. The only thing that we really have seen in America is the Pop figure. I guess the Kid Robot one too we've seen here, but it's hard to find Kid Robots in stores these days. They really just don't show up as much. Funko's kind of taken over the market. But other stuff that we haven't seen, really great stuff. I'm very happy, very pleased with this box. So let's take a short little break, and then we'll come back and talk about some value and give this box a rating. See you soon. Alright, we are back. Let's talk about some value on these items. First, the Kids Logic set of 2 figures. The price varies depending on what figure it is. I think this one for the box was exclusively Ken and Fei Long, but different ones go for different prices, but roughly around $50 for this set, which isn't totally outside the ballpark. I thought it might have been a little bit more since it's two figures, because the Nendoroid figures usually cost $50 plus for one figure. I guess they do come with more attachments, so that's a pretty good price for 2 figures that are fully posable and have such high detail. So that's actually a pretty good value. And yeah, I think they're really cool. I think that's a very awesome choice. Next, The Kid Robot figure. This is pretty common. We get these in America all the time. If you can find them in a store, it kind of depends, but it should be $10. If you find them in stores, a lot of stores mark them up to like $12.50 and above that, like especially Hot Topic or something like that, might even mark them up to like $14, but you should only be paying $10. So the value on that should be $10. Obviously, if you're looking for a specific figure, it depends on which figure it is, and that price varies, but it should be right at 10. Next. So this figure right here, the Defeated Face, these go by a lot of different names, so it's hard to look up information because it's in Japanese, so it's either Defeated Face or Losing Face or Continue Face. It goes by a bunch of different names, but I couldn't find anything on individual figures. And I've seen them before. I've seen complete boxes of them, and a set of 12 of them goes for like $130 to $150. So just doing some basic math, I'm going to put a value on this of about $10 to $12, which I think is reasonable. I think that's what they would cost if they were here in America. I think that's what they would cost in a store. They're really cool figures, and they're definitely interesting, and I really want to collect the whole series if I ever get some money to. Next, our little Diamond Block figures. These are pretty common. They're very, very cheap online. Surprisingly cheap, actually. The Pokemon ones I've gotten for as little as like $3 or $4 after shipping and taxes. Like, that's crazy cheap. So this only goes for like $5 or $6. It's very, very cheap to get. So that's why it's cool to get these. It's fun to build and cool to put on display, and they cost practically nothing. And they have just about every character you can imagine. So that's pretty cool. Our last item, something really interesting, actually. So I thought this was just the average pop figure, and it kinda is. But there is actually something different that I didn't notice at first glance. So let's take a look here. You'll notice it actually says Pop Asia. Pop Asia. So that's something I didn't notice until I was reading the description. This is actually different. It has a different name when it's in Asia. So it actually makes it exclusive to Asia. The figure's no different. The box is exactly the same except for that one word. If you look online or in the store, they'll say Pop Games in America. But in Asia, it'll just say Pop Asia. So that actually makes it exclusive to Asia, which gives it more value. I would have never noticed that in a million years if I hadn't read it, and it would have gotten the standard $10 value, which is what they valued it at, but that's probably what it costs for them there. To get it here, it costs twice that, so it's about $20 for this figure. And that's on the low end. A lot of people are charging a lot more. I don't know how many collectors are going to care that much, but it is interesting because I've never seen a box say Pop Asia before. Excuse me. Obviously, they say Pop Asia on all of them there, but I've never seen that before, and I think that's pretty cool. This goes from just another average figure to something collectible now, something that's exclusive that we can't get here, which is exactly why I like this box. That's what makes this box great. So that's really cool to have something that actually shows that it's from somewhere else. That's usually Funko and places like that just put the same product everywhere no matter what. But that's really cool, and I kind of like that a lot. Other than that, what I was looking at, there's nothing really different about it. Everything else is in English. Everything else looks exactly the same. It's just that one word, which is kind of crazy that they would make a whole different box just for that one word. But that makes it a little bit rarer, so not going to complain. So that brings our value on the low end of 95 and on the high end of about 98. So not quite double, but since this is, like I've always explained a million times, so much money is used on shipping because this is a pretty giant box, and it always is. And to get this shipped from Hong Kong is crazy expensive. So to expect double your value on any foreign box is a pretty bad idea. It's almost never going to happen except for on a very rare occasion. So, but you still got decent value nonetheless. After shipping and everything like that, this box costs almost $65, which is very expensive. But the good news is this company just announced, I got an email, that they are going to drop the price. They said, I'm guessing they've watched some of my reviews maybe, and the company has said they realize for Americans this is the most expensive box out there, and that's true. So they see that and they really want to drop the price. They haven't decided how much. They said between $5 and $10, which even if it's $5, that still makes a pretty big difference. And if they can manage to do 10, that's fantastic. It's really cool that they recognize that, and they are trying to appeal to those type of people. Americans, those type of people is what I mean. So that's really cool that they're doing that. So dropping the price is going to make a huge difference because that's pretty much the only negative thing about this box is the price, and that's not their fault, it's just shipping. There's nothing anyone can do about it. If something's heavy, it costs a lot to travel across the world. So it is what it is. So if they can bring down the price, that'd be really fantastic. And other than that, I love this box. I love the themes they do. I love the stuff we get in here. I like seeing stuff that's not generic crap because I'm tired. It's funny they put one pop in there, but I'm tired of all these boxes full of Funko crap and t-shirts and third-party stuff. Like, it gets so generic after a while, so I'm really happy to see this box, and I always love the themes. Next month's theme is Dragon Ball again for the 30th anniversary, which I couldn't be more psyched about because I loved the first box, so I can't wait to see what they put in the next one. I'm super excited for it. And then they're taking a break for a month, but I'll talk about that on the next box. So, super excited about it. That all being said, I'm going to give this box a 6.75. That's only because, again, it's just the value. You get about 50% more than you pay for, which is good. And, you know, I honestly might bump up the score a little bit because I really do like this box and I love everything in there. I hate to take off so much from their score just based on value because their variety and stuff is off the charts and it's so much different than any other box. And I want to give them a higher score. It's just difficult because of the value situation. But let me know what you guys think. If you think it deserves a higher score than that based on what's in here, if you'd pay that much, if you're only getting 50% more, would you still pay that much? Like, it's still good value. You get definitely more than you pay for. So let's talk about it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about it. But as of right now, it's going to be a 6.75 out of 10. This has been Lootaku. This is November's box, and we'll have one more in the month of December. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you in the comments. Thank you all for watching. Love y'all. Peace.